from 1977. This is the Panasonic TR-5000 combination 5-inch black and white television, AM/FM radio, and cassette recorder. I think it's just a beautiful looking example of vintage electronics from that era, and it's going to be displayed prominently somewhere in my house, even though it doesn't work as well as I'd like. It has a couple of, I guess we'll call them carrying bars, almost like you'd slide in for a rack system or something. You have a 5-inch black and white television. You have a 3-part indicator dial. The top line is for your cassette recording level, middle line is your signal strength, and the bottom line is your battery strength indicator. You have a selector here. When it's on tape, everything else is off. TV, radio. For TV, you can go low VHF, high VHF, or UHF, and those indicators are on this dial here. Your TV tuning dial, AM/FM selector, and here's your AM/FM indicator dial here. And here's your radio tuning dial, tone controls, bass and treble, and volume. And I just love that 70s wood grain kind of stuff. Looking down at the top, we have our rod antenna, a 4-inch speaker, tape counter, and our cassette recorder with all the normal cassette recording functions. And also we have a dial light control here. You have to press it in to get your dial lights, and when it's out, AFC is automatically enabled for your FM radio stations. Around the left side you have your antenna connections. Those two switches can be set up or down depending on if you want to use the rod antenna or an external antenna. You've got UHF connections, VHF and FM connections, and you have television controls, brightness and contrast. Around the right side we have more of this sort of nice embellishment there. We have a jack for cassette recorder, remote mic, audio out jack, and earphone jack. And we have a jack for a 12-volt DC source and your AC jack. Looking around the back, we have our UL label. The little tag shows us this chassis family T509, made November 1977. Over on the right we have our manufacturer's information, Panasonic TR-5000, uses 18 watts on AC, 8 watts on DC, made in Japan. We have our more TV controls back here, horizontal hold and vertical hold. And here we have a compartment for 9 D-cell batteries. Now, my example is missing the 3 plastic sleeves which would each hold 3 batteries in here. I did attempt to put 9 D-cells in without those holders, and it's almost impossible. I was able to do it and get it to work on batteries just to see if it could, and it does. But boy, they're awful shaky in there, and I had to do a lot of finagling to get them to stick in. And of course, as soon as I took the back off, they all fell out all over the floor. So if you're going to find one of these and you plan on using it on batteries, get one with the 3 plastic sleeves in there if you don't have some backups. Underneath we have a couple of feet that you can prop the unit up with for a better television viewing angle. We have some controls for an IF AGC and an RF AGC, vertical linearity and height, and some various ventilation ductworks. Starting to look at some of the operation things, we'll start with something that doesn't work, and that's the cassette recorder, unfortunately. And motor is apparently completely dead. There's no hum, no nothing on anything. So that's a complete fail there. I guess I wish it worked, but I have other cassette recorders, and so I don't really need this one. It still looks great on the machine. Let's move on to the television. Well, we're setting up to watch a little television. Let me turn this light off here. And it appears to work strongly, but no matter what I did, I could not get it to pull in any stations using my digital to analog converter boxes and an antenna. And I'll show how I tried that here. So please, no need to say in the comments that it's not going to pull in the modern digital stations. I know that. Even trying a couple different antennas and a couple different digital to analog converter boxes and verifying that those worked on other old analog televisions, I could never get anything on here. No matter how I set the antenna connection switches or tried to find channel 3 or 4 on the dial, nothing worked. With the light off, you can see that brightness control works, and the contrast makes a couple odd things happen, so it has some effect on something. And you can see the TV and radio tuning dials there. Alright, fortunately the function I'm most likely to use works perfectly. The radio.
Makes one practice cut in the box.
Two of the biggest stories about some of your favorite stars.
Hey, working. Let's get to the marijuana product shortly. Last time I seen my baby Georgia, she was standing in the door. Yeah, last time I seen my baby Georgia, she was standing in the door.
Let's see what we get on AM.
Fifth batter, still nobody out is Will
That'll be
Millbrook.
Cincinnati,
He takes
700.
the ball.
On us. Not all Muslim.
Formerly the Oklahoman for a sports talk show.
First, the Indians lead 1-0. Despite
Issuing a stay, the chances of that were
And if anything worthy of praise.
Alright, we worked our way through the AM dial too. So the radio works, which would be the thing I'm most likely to use. So I'm still happy with it, even though the television and cassette recorder are currently funked. And one thing I want to mention is that the earphone jack on the right side does output in stereo. So I did test that with my headphones and it does work. Alright, before we leave, I thought I'd prop the unit up on its feet so you can see the angle it goes to. And I raised the antenna up a little bit too. So that's the Panasonic TR-5000 from 1977. I suppose I wish it worked better. But I'm happy with the radio, and overall I think the unit itself is just beautiful and it's going to make a nice addition to my vintage stereo equipment. I did get this at an estate sale, by the way, if you're wondering. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye.